Howdy, this is Hannah. I'm your live host this evening, and we're kindly reminding everyone to please mute themselves. We are hearing a couple people, so thank you so much for being here. We're really excited, and we're going to get started in just another minute or so. Here we are. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening in a magical, still virtual world. My name's Hannah Miller. I'm the Development Director at Jackson Street Youth Services, and it's truly an honor to get to welcome you this evening. A year ago, I was in my spare bedroom carefully explaining this fun new technology called Zoom to those of you who made it to our first virtual event last year. And now many of us spend hours a day working via this platform. And so I just want to recognize the fact that you've chosen to log in and spend another 40 minutes with a cyberspace community. It really means so much, not just to me, to Jackson Street as an organization, but to the young people who are finding safety and hope through our services. And at the end of the day, their stories are the reason that we're here. I'm going to run quickly through just a few Zoom details. We're going to kindly ask that everyone keep themselves muted this evening. It's really fun to get to see you. If you choose to have your video on, that's great. You can also choose to turn that off if you'd like. We've done our best to spotlight the screen so that the program is the main focus, and we recommend this as for the best experience. Depending on your device, you might have part of the audience blocking your screen, so you should just be able to drag that out of your way. And if you haven't already found the chat feature, come say hi to us. We want to know who's here, where you're from, where you're viewing from. You're also able to private message each other if you happen to see your best friend. Oh. As you're engaging in the chat, saying hi to us, we do know that Zoom allows a lot of people from all over the country to connect. And so imagine that room full of energy when people who all care about one cause really are here together. If you've forgotten how fun that was, you could picture yourself with us here in our homemade living room. It's fun to get to share this space with our amazing, tiny, live, fully vaccinated audience. Many of you are enjoying Yum boxes this year, which were some hors d'oeuvre boxes put together by Forks and Corks Catering. Hopefully you have your drink of choice with you as well, and you're looking forward to a snappy and very special 25-minute program. We want to give a huge thank you to John Harris of Horsepower Productions. Woo! For leadership on this year's project, and oodles of thanks also to our event sponsors who are blazing a bold path in our shared efforts to end youth homelessness. Thank you all very much. Before we roll the official event reel, I want to be sure to also thank Timothy Walters for providing original music composition just for our event. So Timothy is a member of our Next Steps program, and he wrote the piece Ascending just for tonight, as that's the music that you heard when you were logging in. please check out his Instagram page, which is in the chat. Lastly, but arguably most importantly, the official ask for donations tonight comes from our youth speaker at the end of the video. But at any point tonight, you can go online to our website to donate in support of local youth experiencing or at risk of homelessness. You're going to see the donation link in the chat several times throughout the program, so thank you for your support. Before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and long after the pandemic, Jackson Street will be here working to wrap around and support youth, and you are a crucial partner in the lives of these young people. As a community and an organization, we choose to focus on youth rising, on the hope and resilience we see from these youth every day that we are honored to do this work. On behalf of so many, thank you again for being present tonight. We're going to launch our program. Stick around for the full 23 minutes, and we'll see you on the other side.
Jackson Street Youth Services would like to recognize the following sponsors for making tonight's event possible. Our presenting sponsor, Town & Country Realty. Our leading sponsors, Mortgage Express, Fuller & Shaw Wealth Management, Samaritan Health Services. This year's media sponsor, Horsepower Productions. And all of our supporting sponsors. On behalf of all the staff at Jackson Street Youth Services, thank you all. We couldn't do it without you. Now, to kick off our program, here's Catherine Fisher and Lisa Marie Boyd with Town & Country Realty.
Hi, I'm Lisa Marie Boyd. And I'm Catherine Fisher. We are the co-owners and principal brokers of Town & Country Realty, a brokerage deeply rooted in this community since 1951.
We believe all people, especially the youth of our community, deserve a secure, safe place to come home to.
Nonprofits are important to build a strong community, and that's what Town & Country Realty is really all about. We're not just about selling houses, we're about being part of this community, being part of the stewardship of what Corvallis is, what Albany is, and making sure that it has something in the future to be.
The youth are really our future. They're our future. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it's so true that if we don't take care of our youth, then we have adults that are unable to take care of themselves. And so it's important to help raise up and encourage youth across all different types of categories so that they can be self-sufficient, self-supportive, a productive member of the community, and hopefully they will take lessons that they've learned throughout the process and be able to also themselves give back.
So for us, it's about supporting these kids that really have been dealt a bad hand and giving them the opportunity to step up. And that is why Jackson Street specifically is so important, because they take youth that really want to succeed, that are trying to succeed, and they just don't have the resources. And they say, hey, let us support you in terms of showing you better choices, showing you options, helping you get through school, helping you figure out what next steps are, helping you just become a really integral part of society.
The money that we know stays local, helps local, and then also it grows local. Thank you to the Jackson Street Youth Services team and volunteers for supporting youth in our community during this challenging time of the pandemic.
We ask all of you to please join us in supporting Jackson Street Youth Services. Give generously.
Hey y'all, I wish I could see your faces, but I feel your energy, and I am so glad you are here with us today. 2020 was a challenging year, but because of you, we kept showing up. The youth thrived, and we are filled with hope. The stress and economic impact of the pandemic this past year hurt young people in heartbreaking ways. We immediately went into emergency mode to be there for these youth. With your unwavering support, we continued critical services and kept the youth and our staff safe. You made us masks. You donated meals and gifts during the holidays. You signed up to be volunteer mentors and joined our outreach teams. You generously donated your stimulus checks to our cause. Because of your support, we were able to keep showing up. We always say safety's number one, so we rose to the challenge that the coronavirus threw at us. Youth and staff wore masks all day, recorded temperatures throughout the day, sanitized all surfaces all day. Our outreach teams delivered food boxes, masks, and supplies to families trying to survive. Staff became sanitizing experts, distance learning educators, and exercise coaches. We switched our meetings to Zoom. We supported staff with extra pay and mental health support. We expanded our outreach program, including adding more street outreach teams for consistent connections in all rural areas. And we opened more housing units and flexible options for older youth in our Next Steps program. Because we were being safe, our shelters and transitional housing have been able to take in minors and young adults who would have otherwise fallen through the cracks. The youth had their basic needs met and more, and were able to thrive. Yoga videos, schoolwork breaks as dance breaks, art therapy with Tristan, our in-house mental health therapist and dad joke aficionado, and amazingly, the youth recently went on their first trip all year, an adventure to the coast. While in our services, the most youth graduated high school and the most youth began their first jobs. Although our focus needed to shift to the crisis created by the pandemic and literal fires and ice storms, we continued to learn and grow as an organization and are looking gratefully forward to the coming year to do new things. I'll share some of those things I'm most excited about. Our amazing mentoring program will grow even more. After we purchased our Albany house, we'll now soon be renovating it as a better and beautiful space for the youth. Resilient youth who've experienced homelessness will be serving as consultants to give us ideas for our future services and make speeches as legislative advocates for policies they help create. Our understanding of the impacts of family poverty and LGBTQ issues are strengths of ours, but now we are working intently to increase our cultural competency in race and ethnicity. In spite of the coronavirus, Jackson Street is dedicated to ending youth homelessness. Regardless of what new challenges we may face, we will continue leading efforts to ensure that youth homelessness is prevented whenever possible, and that unaccompanied youth who do experience homelessness are on a quick path to a safe, stable, and permanent housing. We've been doing this a while, and we're good at it. Jackson Street is turning 20 this September. Can you believe it? We opened our first shelter in downtown Corvallis September 10th, 2001, the day before 9/11, an ominous start. We are grateful to all of you who have been supporting us since the beginning, and to all of our new friends and donors we've gathered along the way. I hope to see you all in person this year as we reflect and celebrate 20 years of Youth Rising.
Good evening. I'm Kendra Phillips-Neal, the Program Director at Jackson Street Youth Services.
And I'm Bruce Piercy, Volunteer Coordinator. And we have the distinct privilege of awarding Jackson Street's third annual Our Caring Community Awards to an amazing group of passionate supporters.
Across all our continuum, youth voice and youth experience stay central. Our paid, trained staff provide crucial day-to-day support, but volunteers also play a tremendous role in the lives of youth experiencing or at risk of homelessness.
In fact, one of the greatest protective factors against youth experiencing homelessness is having one consistent, positive adult in their lives.
Without this group of community volunteers, the young people they're connected to would have fewer opportunities to learn and try new things and connect to positive adults. It's hard to overstate the importance of these relationships in keeping youth safe and preventing homelessness. And so I'm honored to bestow the Our Caring Community Award to our current Jackson Street volunteer mentors.
Right now, we have 25 community volunteers serving as volunteer mentors. They go through an in-depth screening and training process before being matched with their youth mentee. Volunteer mentors connect weekly and meet for safe outdoor activities based in the community and built on shared interests. Especially in light of COVID, our current volunteer mentors are an anchor and safety line for young people struggling to stay connected.
We can't hand each of you trophies this year, but we will send you a small token of appreciation for all that you do and give to support young people. It's truly incredible. On behalf of myself, Bruce, our staff, our board of directors shown here, thank you.
Congratulations, volunteer mentors, this year's recipients of the Our Caring Community Awards.
Hello, my name is Anna Bontrager. I am the Outreach Program Manager here at Jackson Street Youth Services. Jackson Street Youth Services has a continuum of care that serves this youth age range of 10 to 24 years old. Our outreach program is kind of thought of as the first stop in our road of our continuum. A lot of times the way that outreach serves youth is different than our transitional living program or our emergency youth shelter. Most of our outreach work is done in the community. It's us bringing the services out to the family and youth that we serve. So the youth that we're trying to reach and outreach, and as well as our whole continuum, we focus on runaway and homeless youth. Our mission at Jackson Street is to end youth homelessness by creating a path to self-sufficiency and building positive relationships with these young individuals. We, of course, are wanting to find those youth who are at risk of experiencing homeless, runaway, or youth who might just want extra support. That's our primarily focus, of course, when we're coming out to the streets and doing this outreach. But we serve any youth and any family or those needing that support, regardless of their situation or their need. Our purpose is not to solely come out and find only those youth. We just hope to catch those youth while delivering and providing these services.
My name is Salvador Maciel. I'm the shelter manager for Jackson Street Youth Services. I oversee Albany House and the Corvallis House. We can serve up to 22 youth in both houses, 12 in Corvallis and 10 here in Albany. For the organization, it's essentially the heart of the organization, and at the end of the day, we're youth services, and the youth stay in our housing to be able to get a chance, so they don't have to wonder where the next meal is going to come from. They don't have to worry about their parents having to work 2 or 3 jobs. You know, they don't have to worry about where they're going to sleep. With us, we help them get off the streets from our outreach program, help them see their full potential, work on relationship with their parents, and then go back home. And then we also have our aftercare program with Susan Ritchie that does that program for us to make sure and maintain them being stable at home and creating that environment for them to stay home and be positive. And at the end of the day, they know that they can always come back. If they make mistakes or families and parents make mistakes, we are always going to open that door for them to be able to continue to grow until they're 18 or even further past that, and help them get into our Next Steps program as well. But we have all walks of life that come through our services. You know, we have kids that are going and playing sports and straight A students, but living environment is hard for them, and it's causing some trauma for them. You know, we have youth that are a part of the juvenile department because they made a mistake, and we're taking them in and helping them be successful. You know, we have youth that come from the DHS system, and there's no other placements because on paper they look like they're the worst kid on earth, but we open up our doors and our hearts to them to give them a chance and help them get to a better living situation, like a foster home or a different treatment facility for them to be able to grow. It's just a little bit of everything. It's a mixture, and I think that's what makes us and other youth feel comfortable, because we're open to everyone, and anything that comes our way, we're open to meet it with kindness and respect. the more that we get to empower them to show that they can and will be successful 30-year-olds with their house, with their kids, or their grandparents talking to their own kids, you know, and having them understand that they matter and they can be whoever they want to be regardless of whatever situation they come through. They deserve to do whatever they want to do to better their life.
My name is Kevin Shimomaida. I go by Shimo, but I'm the Next Steps Program Manager for our Transitional Living Program with Jackson Street Youth Services. So there's so many different various reasons for coming into the program. You got conflict at home. You could have just, you know, those parents that view you as an adult as soon as you turn 18, and then they expect you to have everything together, and then they kick you out. And then they end up not having the skills, they don't have their birth certificate, they don't have job experience, they don't know what to do. So they come to Next Steps, they get all those independent life skills so that they can truly be successful on their own. So that's there's various reasons they come to us. It could be living paycheck to paycheck as a young adult on their own. They're doing it, they're in an apartment, a housemate loses their job, or they lose their job, and now all of a sudden they can't pay rent, they gotta move somewhere. They don't have somewhere to go with the next security deposit because, of course, they're living paycheck to paycheck, no savings. And so what do? So Next Steps is designed to break that cycle of homelessness, to be that step, that transitionary place for them to get back on their feet. It's really for adults that are just kind of all the expectations overnight. That's what it originally was for some of the continuum so that the people aging out of shelter have somewhere to go, have somewhere lined up. So it's not just like, hey, you're no longer a child in the eyes of the law. You are an adult, you're 18, your 18th birthday. Here's all the things with adulthood, and you just became an adult, but we expect you to be an adult. So this place is meant to take them from that 18th birthday to adulthood and independence in an 18-month period. They might come into this program, they might feel way behind compared to their peers. They say things like, I've never had a job, I've never paid taxes, I've never bought anything for myself, I barely have any possessions. But if they're successful in the program, they're gonna leave this program well ahead of their peers. They're gonna have bank accounts, they're gonna have credit scores, they're gonna have thousands in savings. Success in this program is that they're independent, they're ahead of their peers, and they're living life on their own.
So our purpose of coming out and our purpose of outreach is both preventative and also continuing to build the strengths that those youth who might have already been engaged in our services can continue to practice and can continue to have a support that's in there, a support network. So it's building that network so that that these youth can also share with their friends or share with people that they might see in their life that could use that, you know, because they have experienced a positive interaction or they have received some support that was really needed, and they've learned that Jackson Street is a trusting and safe place to go to get that support.
We get to see the best of the kids, regardless of whatever situation they're going through. You know, we get to see the true, genuine them. We get to see them see their first time flying a kite. We get to see them first getting a straight A report card because they had time to study. We get to see the first time they get to call their mom without yelling at them. They get to call their counselor and build a relationship with their counselor. We see a lot of firsts for them. Yeah, and it just goes back to the other question is they deserve a chance to make it and make whatever life that they choose to thrive in, and we get to bring out and help them and guide them. But they're the experts, not us. We get to guide them in what they want to do for their lives.
You know, Jackson Street is doing so well and is helping so many youth because of the caring community that we have. And without the community, these youth don't get to where they want to be as fast. And I've heard this from Salvador, and I really embraced it, is that these youth are going to be a part of that community. So why wouldn't you want them to be at their best? Why wouldn't you want to give them the resources to succeed so that they can take care of the community in the future.
What brought me to Jackson Street was I had family problems, like really bad family problems, and I ran away, like my first time ever running away. Like that was my last resort, was running away, but I ran away for maybe like 3.5, 4 days. My teacher, one of my favorite teachers, she knew that I ran away because the whole school, like the teachers and stuff knew, and she told my best friend, because she obviously knew my best friend would know. And she goes, have her come to school, like come straight to my classroom, don't go anywhere else, just come to my classroom first. And so I went to her classroom and we talked and stuff, and we went to my counselor, and they had to notify my parents, my dad. My counselor mentioned Jackson Street, and so my dad called, like they both called, my counselor and my dad, and they took me that same day I came back to school, and that's how I got into Jackson Street, was that day. I came that night after school. When I first came into shelter, I thought it'd be kind of like bad because like I just never pictured like myself in something like this. And so like because I hear about shelters a lot, about how they're bad they are and like how like they're horrible and like people just talking bad about them. So like I just thought like it would be bad, you know, and all this. And so when I came in, it was like different because there's structure. There's like there's things you do every day. There's nothing like you just sit and do nothing. Like there's something you can always do. And so when I first came in, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, you know? Like they have a rec room. They have like you can go to the kitchen, you know, all this stuff. Like I just didn't think like it would be like that. And when I first came, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, like hearing about it, like all the what they did do, and like they can go to the park, or like they have every Sunday they have like a I forgot the name of it, but they can go to the YMCA and just, you know, for a few, like hour or two, and just have fun. But it like exceeded what I thought it would do, if that makes sense. It was just nice, and I was like, I love having the structure, you know, like it helps me learn like, oh, these like you get up this time, you go to bed this time, you know, and there's stuff you always did. There was nothing like you just sit and do nothing. So it was fun. After I got here, like things started to change. Like I was so shy. Like even before I came here, I wasn't doing so good mentally. I wasn't. It was just my whole overall like health was bad before I came here. Like mentally I was bad, and just coming here, like there's a lot of skills that I learned, and like they helped me, like doing like anger reduction group. Like I thought I didn't need it, but I did. And like they helped me like learn like all these skills that I didn't know I can do, and like just knowing more about myself, you know, like finding myself. Like I found so much of myself here because I didn't know, because before this I wasn't good. I was locked in my room most of the time. I wasn't good, and so now like I can talk to people about my mental health, and they wouldn't like shoot me down. They wouldn't tell me like, oh, it doesn't matter, like you don't matter. And here they told me like, you do matter, like all this matters. Like even it's a little thing that you think is not, it matters. It means a lot. And knowing that like, I have people in my corner, no matter what it is, they're always there, that helps me know that I'm loved in a way, you know, like I'm cared for, I have food on the table, I have a roof over my head, you know, it helps me a lot. Talking to the therapist here helped me a lot. Talking to staff, having check-ins and all this other stuff, it helped me a lot mentally and physically too. And just having all of this, it helped. Having a mentor, it really helps a lot. Like she checks in with me, I check in with her, like we talk. It kind of like took me out of perspective. I never had one before. I never had a mentor like that. And when they were doing the applications and stuff for him, like for me, the application for me, and then for her, like I think it was like meant to be like us to like be together as like a mentor and mentee, because like we mesh so well together, and like we're so funny, and we just love hanging out with each other, you know, and like we relate on a lot of things, and so it's just a lot, and I love it. So what I'm most proud of about myself that I've overcome over this year and a half that I've been here and out of here was the fact that I've grown and know more about myself, and I'm more open, you know, I'm open to talking to people now. I'm open to like meeting new people and like just being myself, because I was never able to be myself. And so now I'm like, I'm here, you know, and I'm making an impact on people, even though I didn't realize that I am. Like just being more of a person than I am that I never thought I would be. Because I never thought I'd be here, like right now, to this day, I never thought I'd be here. If Jackson Street wasn't here for me a year and a half ago, and if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be alive today. I wouldn't, because of how bad it was at my house, how bad it was being in that situation. I wouldn't be alive today. This was my place that like I knew from like when I first walked in the door, like, I knew like I'm gonna be here because I couldn't go back, because if I went back, I wouldn't be here alive today. That's the honest answer, I wouldn't be here. There's always people I can talk to. I can call the shelter and talk to someone if I need it. I can talk to a therapist here. I can talk, you know, and just, you know, be here. It would mean a lot if you guys all would like help and donate to us, to the shelter, because it keeps people from me, like people like me from my situation. It kept me being the person I am today, and it just would help a lot if you guys would donate to us and help us out, because if places like this weren't running, who knows what would happen to kids on the street or kids in bad situations. Like you would never know. And just knowing that like places like this are open, it helps a lot of youth on the street, youth in bad situations, and help us be the people we are today and help us. So if you'd donate, that'd be awesome. Ba-bam!
Wow. Not a dry eye here. Standing ovation worthy. Allie, thank you so much. You are why we're here. And now is the time to respond to Allie's invitation and give generously. In your chat box on Zoom, you will find a link to our donation page to the website. This is the most immediate and direct way to give. You may need to copy and paste this into your browser. You can also find our website, jacksonstreet.org, and click the big Donate Now button. But I ask you to please think about what Give Generously means to you tonight. Your gift is truly a lifeline for youth like Allie. A one-time donation is absolutely profound. Perhaps you're ready to start a monthly donation or increase your current monthly donation amount. Monthly gifts can be set up through the same donation link, and the consistent support helps ensure stability, especially during uncertain times. If you prefer to write a check, we have P.O. boxes on the screen listed in both Corvallis and Albany. Thank you again for a local donation that will make a huge difference. We're going to provide just a couple minutes for you to go ahead and take the time to do your donation right now. You may have guessed that we are listening again to another original track by Timothy Walters. This one's called Heaven Sent. Consider including a note telling us why you're giving. And after you give, don't leave. We have a unique send-off clip we can't wait to share with you. we're back. Thank you again so much. Just want to quickly say thanks to our sponsors, youth speakers, our staff, our awesome volunteer mentors, and most especially each of you. Thank you for being partners in this very important work. We're going to send you off with a bang, and also with a really quick but exciting sneak peek video for an upcoming campaign led by youth. You don't want to miss it. Thank you again, and have a great night.
Hello, my name is Quinlan, and I'm excited to tell you about a brand new campaign launching later this spring. We're calling it The Uprising, because people of all ages, including teens like me, will soon be rising up against youth homelessness in Lynn and Benton counties. Working individually or with teams, we'll be raising funds for the Albany House, which is in need of some major repairs and improvements. There will be cool swag and other fun prizes for those who get involved. Keep an eye out for more details about how you can join me in the uprising against youth homelessness in our community.